I noticed a black car following me. That's what villains drive. Am I gonna be kidnapped? No, I didn't even have my first kiss yet. I can't die. I started running, but the car stopped right before me, and don't hurt me, or my ghost will haunt you. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but you left so quickly. There's something I have to confess. Confess? So he does like me. Hi, my name is Daisy, and I'm from Connecticut. Before I continue, please hit like and subscribe. I was born into a family of doctors that goes back centuries. They say my ancestors were there for Queen Elizabeth's broken ankle, Abraham Lincoln's allergies, and Marilyn Monroe's sore throat. My parents wanted me to follow in the family's footsteps. They gave me a doctor's set to play with, but I managed to set it on fire. Trying to make a healing tea? I'll turn it into a disgusting brew. However, what I lacked in medical instincts, I made up for in creativity. I don't know where these bones go, but I can make a necklace out of them. Soon, my parents gave up on me ever taking up the family profession and turned to my little sister Jasmine instead. And they were right, because she was a genius. They started giving her their love and attention, and I was often left to play alone. It doesn't matter if they don't look at me anymore. I have stuff to do. Growing up, I tried all kinds of crafts, from painting to model making, but what made my heart race was fashion. In 8th grade, my school announced a fashion competition, and I immediately signed up, but where can I get all the materials? Luckily, we lived in the old family mansion, and the attic was full of old chests. Gosh, I hope there's no ghosts in here. Ah! Oh good, it's just a spider. Don't be afraid. Channel your inner Cinderella. She lived in an attic after all. I repurposed all my mom's vintage clothes I found in the chests for my own line. But I didn't have a suitcase to put them in, so I dragged the chest to school like an old-timey pirate. Off to bury your treasure? Oh no, it's just my collection for the school fashion competition. Oh, I didn't know there was one. Show me what you've got. Are you sure? You usually don't care about my stuff. Of course I care. We're sisters, no? Jasmine was always so perfect that I was anxious to show her my collection, but she loved it and even offered to help me carry the chest. Maybe we're not so different after all. On competition day, I got a text saying it was delayed. Ah, that's great. More time to get ready for my victory speech. However, when I got to school, the models were already on the runway, showcasing my collection. And my sister was also on stage, receiving my prize. Oh, please. This is just a little hobby of mine. I don't deserve this prize. I jumped on the stage and snatched the trophy from her. Exactly. You don't deserve it because I made these clothes. Do you have any proof? No? Right, because I'm the genius of the family. Now I'm off to cure cancer. I was furious with my sister, and it got even worse because now everyone thought I was envious of her and started avoiding me. I applied myself to new hobbies, but every time I got good at something, she stole it from me and pretended it was hers. Finally, when I started high school, my sister moved to a school for geniuses, and I got a new desk mate, Louis. He was cute, but he slept all the time. I wonder how many books I can pile on his head before he wakes up. Pranking Louis while he was asleep became my new hobby. I drew on his face and gave him the most outrageous hairdos, but I also took notes for him and covered for him with the teachers. Oh no, he's not asleep. He's just thinking really hard, right? The answer is a possum. Despite being asleep half the time, Louis was popular in school. I bet it's those sunglasses and baseball caps he wears. They give them an air of mystery. Are you a vampire? What? No, I always stay up late for band rehearsals. Wow, you're in a band? I'm into music as well. I'm a pro at the triangle. That is terrible. It's literally a bent piece of wire. How can you even be so bad? I guess my sister got all the talent in the family. Little by little, Louis and I started hanging out together, and we signed up for theater classes. Now that my sister was out of the picture, I wanted to let my star shine, so I auditioned for the female lead. Oh gosh, is she having a cramp? Should we call a doctor? I was being dramatic. Fine, I can't act, but maybe I can sing. I was so bad at singing that the windows cracked, and when I tried dancing, one student suggested calling the exorcist, so I ended up making snacks and cleaning the room after rehearsals. No job is too small. All roles are helpful. You're the one talking, you got the lead role, and you were snoring during the audition. I played the sleeping prince to perfection. Louis got really serious about his part in the play and asked me to meet him after school to run lines with him. I accepted, but when I got to his address, I found myself in front of a huge mansion. If this is a prank, I'm missing the punchline. As I stood in front of the gate, a massive guy came over and scanned me from head to toe.
She's clean.
Of course I'm clean. I shower every morning. I followed the guy inside, and I felt my jaw hit the floor. How big was this house? But when Louis appeared, he was holding a mop and a bucket.
Ah, you're early. Let me put this away.
Oh, so you work here. For a second, I thought this was your place, but you don't behave like a spoiled rich kid.
I live here and I work.
Let's not waste time then. The show is in 3 weeks. Louis walked me to his room, which was pretty big, and it was also full of guitars and musical posters of bands I didn't even recognize. Should I tell him my musical education stops at medieval ballads? After we rehearsed his lines and started relaxing, I realized I was alone, in a room, with a boy. Suddenly, I couldn't hear a word of what he was saying. I only noticed how his eyes sparkled and how his hair flopped over his forehead. And he's charming and fun and, oh gosh, he's getting closer. Quick, he's about to kiss you. Close your eyes.
Yep, that's a pimple. Do you want me to squeeze it?
Ground, open up and swallow me now. After that fiasco, we were too busy with the upcoming play, so I didn't have to face Louis until the opening night. But when I went to his changing room, I found him deep asleep. Wake up! The play is about to start. But Louis was comatose, so I had to bring out the big guns. I started singing. You're still snoozing away. I'll bring an air horn too. Hoo-woo!
We're under attack!
That was just me, silly. But the teacher's gonna kill you if you don't get ready. Here, let me help you with your costume.
It's okay, I can...
Rip! Oh no, the costume broke. Louis was panicking. He couldn't go on stage like that. But before I even realized it, my hands were finding needle and thread, and I was stitching it back at supersonic speed. There, all done like new.
Wow, you're really good at this.
The play was a success, and even my parents who had come to see it were impressed. Only my sister was her usual snarky self. What a shame you didn't get to be on stage. Not everyone in the family can be talented, eh?
Actually, Louis told me you fixed his costume at the last minute.
Daisy? Impossible. She's a proper klutz. By the way, have you watched my TED Talk already? I didn't want to hear my perfect sister gush over her superior brain, so I decided to walk home. After a bit, I noticed a black car following me. I started running, but the car stopped right before me, and don't hurt me, or my ghost will haunt you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but you left so quickly. There's something I have to confess.
Confess? So he does like me. Louis started playing a song on his phone. I recognized it from a lot of online videos. It was a super popular group that kept their identities hidden, but it wasn't a romantic song at all.
So, you know how I told you that I'm always tired because of band rehearsals? This is what I'm rehearsing.
You work at a karaoke bar?
No, I'm the lead singer of this band, and the big mansion, it's my house. I was holding the mop because I spilled soda on the floor.
For a moment, my brain went on the fritz like a browser with too many tabs open. But suddenly, so many details made sense. No wonder he doesn't have stage fright. Louis explained that his band was working on a big live debut event to reveal their identities, but they couldn't find the right designer for their clothes.
But maybe you can.
What? No, I'm not a designer. My sister...
Pairs denim and sequins. She couldn't recognize taste if it came in a Gucci bag. But you, I've seen what you've done tonight. I know you can do it.
I had given up on my dreams of becoming a fashion designer. But with an opportunity like this, I just had to make sure my sister never found out. And so, I was suddenly plunged into the world of music. Louis introduced me to his bandmates and invited me to all his concerts. Now, we were both sleeping in class. Why don't I get you two a blanket and a pillow, eh?
Thanks, Mom.
Finally, the summer holidays arrived, and I had more time to work on my designs. But my sister was home, so I had to find a way to distract her. I knew her weakness. Every time I find something I like, she wants it. So if you and I went on a date, she'd focus on trying to charm you instead of lurking around.
A date? With me? But I don't have time. How about my cousin Pete? He's here for the summer.
Little did I know, Louis brought his cousin along. When Pete stepped outside the car, I literally dropped my jaw. Oh my, what is with this family? He's even more handsome than Louis. We explained everything to him.
Hello. Sure, I can fake date this cutie for you, cousin.
The next day, he came to pick me up in a shining red convertible and even brought flowers. Oh, hello. Are these for me?
Actually, they're for Daisy. You see, daisies, like her name. Since you're such an expert, shouldn't you know flowers' names?
My sister's face turned bright red. A picture for the revenge album. But it wasn't enough. We went on the perfect date, walking in the park, chasing each other in the skating rink, and a sunset ride on the Ferris wheel. I discovered that Pete was a computer genius who had made a truckload of money investing in cryptocurrency. And all the time, my sister followed us. I could spot her in the distance from the smoke coming out of her ears. When I got home, she had already added Pete on social media. Target locked. As agreed, Pete started flirting with my sister, promising dates, but never showing up. And in the meantime, I finished the collection for Louis's debut.
This is amazing, Daisy. I knew you were the right person to ask.
Thank you for believing in me. This time, I made sure to take the clothes to the location myself, but I was taking care of the last touches on Louis's makeup when Pete burst in.
Your sister's here. She called my bluff, tied me to a chair, and tickled me until I confessed everything. You know I can't stand tickles.
I ran backstage, but it was too late. My sister had thrown paint all over the costumes, and now they were a mess. Why? What have I done to you? Because you ruined my life. Do you think I like studying 12 hours a day? I didn't want to be a doctor, but because you were so mediocre, I had to be perfect. If I can't live a happy life, neither can you. You could have told me. And do you think I like always being left alone and ignored? I thought you liked being left alone. Of course not. I admire you and wanted to be friends, but you were always so busy. We could have helped each other. My sister's face fell, realization suddenly hitting her. I was angry at our parents, and I took it out on you. I was so jealous of your creativity and your ability to chase your passions. I'm so sorry, Daisy. I know I messed up and that I hurt you, but please forgive me. I knew she was really regretful, and I decided to forgive her. Well, you better start now, because I will need everyone's help to save this. I only had minutes before Louis had to get on stage, but I had already come up with a plan to save the day. Louis, do you have fans?
I've got 10 million followers.
I meant ventilators to make wind.
What for? We really need this to be perfect.
It will, trust me. And my plan was a success. When the band got on stage, Pete, my sister, and I used the fans to drop even more paint on the performers, and it looked amazing. The media went wild, and Louis tagged me in all of their videos. By the end of the week, I had a scholarship to the most prestigious design school in the country. 6 years later, Louis asked me to design the clothes for his band's debut anniversary. Of course, you introduced me to my future husband.
Your loss. You got married to the ugly cousin. And speaking of relatives, will your sister be there as well?
You tell me. She's your manager now. After our tearful reunion, my sister told her parents she didn't want to be a doctor and set out to make changes, which led her to apply all her snark to a more suitable profession, starting with helping Louis. We had both realized we didn't have to be defined by our family expectations and that we could be allies. And with Pete and Louis by our sides, we made an amazing team. And now, the team would grow to become even more amazing because just wait until I tell her she's about to become an aunt.